Все, всі технічні моменти вімкнено. В принципі, ви можете починати, або як вам буде зручніше. Тобто, бажаю успіху, всім гарного настрою.
Дякую. Доброго дня, шановні члени спеціалізованої вченої ради, присутні. Сьогодні 29 січня 2025 року, 10 година. Дозвольте розпочати засідання. Відповідно до рішення вченої ради Сумського національного аграрного університету від 28 жовтня 2024 року, протокол номер 7 та наказом ректора номер 4006/ОС від 6 грудня 2024 року у Сумському національному аграрному університеті утворено спеціалізовану вчену раду для прийняття для розгляду та проведення разового захисту дисертації ДЖОШУА ЛІНУС БАКА на тему управління системою мотивації персоналу підприємства, англійською Management of Motivation System of Personnel at the Enterprises, на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії у галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Склад спеціалізованої вченої ради. Голова ради – Орєхова Альвіна Іванівна, доктор економічних наук, професор, завідувач кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової, Сумський національний аграрний університет. Рецензенти – Могильна Людмила Миколаївна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової, Сумський національний аграрний університет. Харченко Тетяна Миколаївна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової, Сумський національний аграрний університет. Офіційні опоненти – Власенко Тетяна Анатоліївна, доктор економічних наук, професор, завідувач кафедри економіки підприємства та організації бізнесу, Харківський національний економічний університет імені, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри економіки, підприємництва та туризму, Поліський національний університет. Посади членів спеціалізованої вченої ради вказані на дату захисту дисертаційної роботи. Шановні рецензенти і опоненти, прошу зареєструватися. Так, я бачу, вже зареєструвалась, дякую. Отже, на підставі реєстраційної картки присутні 5 членів спеціалізованої вченої ради із 5 затверджених наказом ректора номер 406/ОС від 6 грудня 2024 року. Кворум необхідний для засідання є, і ми маємо всі офіційні підстави для того, щоб розпочати засідання. Засідання спеціалізованої вченої ради оголошую відкритим. Сьогодні на порядку денному захист дисертації на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії, аспіранта кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової Сумського національного аграрного університету ДЖОШУА ЛІНУС БАКА на тему управління системою мотивації персоналу підприємств, англійською Management of Motivation System of Personnel at the Enterprises за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Роботу виконано у Сумському національному аграрному університеті. Науковий керівник, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової Дашутіна Людмила Олександрівна. До спеціалізованої вченої ради надійшли такі документи. Заява щодо проведення атестації здобувача. Копія першої сторінки паспорта громадянина Федеративної Республіки Нігерія. Копія диплома магістра. Витяг з наказу про зарахування до аспірантури, засвідчений у встановленому порядку. Академічна довідка про виконання відповідної освітньо-наукової програми. Висновок наукового керівника, кандидата економічних наук, доцента Дашутіної Людмили Олександрівни. Висновок про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дисертації. Дисертація наявна в друкованому та електронному виглядах. Відбитки копій наукових публікацій, зарахованих за темою дисертації, засвідчені у встановленому порядку. Усі документи відповідають встановленим вимогам, дисертація до захисту подається вперше. Хто за запропонований порядок денний, прошу голосувати. Хто за? Дякую. Хто проти? Утримався? Немає. Одноголосно дякую. Пропозиція приймається. Дозвольте зачитати біографічні дані аспіранта. ДЖОШУА ЛІНУС БАКА, 1992 року народження, громадянин Нігерії, освіта вища, закінчив у 2020 році Сумський національний аграрний університет за спеціальністю менеджмент, освітня програма адміністративний менеджмент. Аспірантуру закінчив у 2025 році Сумський національний аграрний університет Міністерства освіти і науки України, місто Суми. Дисертацію виконано у Сумському національному аграрному університеті Міністерства освіти і науки України, місто Суми. Тема дисертації затверджена на засіданні вченої ради Сумського національного аграрного університету, протокол номер 9 від 29 березня 2021 року. ДЖОШУА ЛІНУС БАКА завершив виконання освітньо-наукової програми у 2025 році. 30 серпня 2024 року відбулася публічна презентація дисертаційного дослідження на кафедрі менеджменту імені професора Михайлової за спеціальністю менеджмент, де дисертацію було рекомендовано до розгляду та захисту у разовій спеціалізованій вченій раді. Основні положення та отримані наукові результати дисертаційної роботи висвітлені у 10 наукових працях, з них 3 наукові праці оприлюднено у фахових наукових виданнях. 1 наукова праця в науковому виданні включено до наукометричних баз Scopus, 6 наукових праць опубліковано в інших виданнях. Наукові публікації відповідають вимогам пункту 8 та 9 порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішень разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, постанова Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44 зі змінами. Дисертація відповідає вимогам наказу МОН України номер 40 від 12 січня 2017 року про затвердження вимог до оформлення дисертації та порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішень разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, постанова Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44 зі змінами. Скажіть, будь ласка, чи є питання у членів спеціалізованої вченої ради? Добре, немає. Із здобувачем погоджено, що захист дисертації буде проводитися англійською мовою. To present the main result of the research, the word is given to PhD student Joshua Linus Baka. Linus, you are welcome, please.
Thank you so much. Let me share my screen. Dear head of the committee, dear professors and scientific community, let me present the main result of scientific dissertation of the topic Management of Motivation System of Personnel at the Enterprise. In the present period of economic growth for enterprises of goods and effective labor on the strategic development, it is essential to resourcefully utilize the personnel motivation system for top performance. Modern managerial abilities necessitate the establishment of a wide range of motivation system, which could be incentive system for capacity and attention on overall efficiency and the strategic growth for the enterprise. Sorry. Okay. Theoretical aspect of motivation definition. Motivation is the key factor that influences human behavior, performance, and goal achievement. It is the internal and external drive that compels individuals to take action, persist in tasks, and strive for success. Theoretical aspects of motivation help us understand the different forces that shape our actions, from psychological needs to external rewards. Every definition you will find in publications and dictionaries underscore that motivation is behavior and that activity must be directed in order to achieve the desired outcome. By understanding these theories, we can better analyze what drives individuals and organizations to enhance motivation for improved performance and satisfaction. There are so many definitions of motivation, which ranges from seeing motivation through different lenses. According to different scientists, motivation can be seen as a process with conditions, as a stimulant to goals and achieving them, as a set of internal and external factors, a tool of achieving personal and social needs, and a lot more. After carefully examining these definitions, we define motivation as the combination of internal and external forces that propel someone to act, seek objectives, and display particular behaviors, which can also be seen as a psychological process that influences a person's intensity, determination, and attention to a certain activity or aim. Feedback as a tool for motivation and performance evaluation. Feedback is a powerful tool that plays a crucial role in motivation and performance evaluation. It provides individuals with insights into their strengths, areas of improvement, and overall progress, helping them refine their skills and enhance their productivity. Effective feedback fosters continuous learning, encourages employee engagement, and align individual effort with organizational goals. Whether positive or negative, we'll discover that feedback boosts confidence, promotes growth, and enhances overall performance. Feedback is a mechanism intended to identify and intervene in situations where an employee has either failed terribly or accomplished a task or project exceptionally. It is crucial to remember that this is a method according to the account of incidents. Managers give their team feedback during personal performance evaluation procedures. Their assignment, understanding it, completion, and presentation all go into this evaluation. Employees can use this feedback to enhance their work and fulfill in any loopholes identified by supervisors. It also highlights several issues among employees may be experiencing and the need for it to be fixed. The devastating effect of uncertainty. The component of expectation theory are expectancies, instrumentality, and valence. Expectancies are beliefs that a given level of effort will lead to the appropriate degree of performance. This will also lead to a reward given, and valence is the affective value of the reward obtained. So for our research, we used Dangote Group. The Dangote Group is an industrial conglomerate with its headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. It has one of the Africa's biggest and most varied companies. The group was founded in 1981 and has since expanded to include a range of industries, including cement, sugar, salt, flour, steel, oil and gas, among others. For this research, there are 4 things we develop to guide us with. First, to guarantee the representative sample that accurately captures the variety of workforce. Secondly, numerous viewpoints from different industrial sectors provide insight into the efficiency of the motivation system in various circumstances. Thirdly, considering several levels of hierarchy offers a comprehensive understanding of how the system affects workers across the board in the firm. In-depth analysis is made possible by the higher sample size, which also leads to statistically meaningful results. The case study result could potentially have wider ramifications for other companies' motivation management strategies. Last but not the least, talking to Dangote Group employees firsthand guarantees a contextual understanding of their motivational tactics and reward. We issued questionnaires to 300 workers of the Dangote Group from all 7 tech sectors of the group, and this is the distribution. The table shows the distribution of the respondents from different sectors of the Dangote Group as we issued the questionnaires. We tried to get at least 20 respondents to try to get diverse opinion to the total number of respondents in this study. In this study, is a key factor influencing the relatability of the result. We had to get gender distribution and the respondent to understand the demography. As we can see, male is 58% and female 42%. This is the distribution by grade to ascertain the different category of respondent. Freshman, that is newly employed personnel with less than a year experience, 15%. The sophomore are people who have been on the job for 1 to 3 years with 14%. Junior managerial category is having 25%, and the final category is the senior category with 46% of the distribution of the respondents by grade. The next distribution, we had to take educational qualification. Those with high school qualification, 11%. Those with first degree had the highest percentage of 59%, which is a good fit for the roles. The next distribution is master's degree certificate for 17% and 8% with other qualifications. Analytics aspect of Dangote Group motivation system. The degree to which a notion is precisely quantified is a quantitative and qualitative investigation is known as validity. To put it in another way, if a study measures what is intended to access, it is legitimate. The component analysis approaches was used to examine the concept validity, which is usually achieved by the means of the Bartlett examine of sphericity and Kaiser-Meyer-Hawkins KMO. The information that may be observed from the research data is accurate, as demonstrated by test result validity of the questionnaires. From summary model, we can clearly see the predictors that which are constant, including qualification, grade, gender, age, and distribution. The dependent variable, which is accomplishment, the adjusted R-square, which is 58996, the F change, which is 3.3228. This statement, high rate of agreement, suggests that a sizable majority of those polled perceive their job to be satisfying and gratifying. As Hunter Johnson noted, when overcoming obstacles at work, workers experience a sense of accomplishment that is frequently linked to joy, satisfaction. We see from the chart in the overview of what motivates people's levels of the staff of the group. Personnel working at the Dangote Group are both internally and externally motivated, which contributes to their favorable opinions of the working environment, the company's leadership, and the prospect of professional growth. We can see the result of the questions that is based on intrinsic motivation system, intrinsic motivated statement rather. It is obvious that the overall 89% of the respondents are intrinsically motivated, which is a good sign for the general output of the enterprise. Employee involvement, the mission and ideals of the company, and management acknowledgement of excellent work. The general sincerity of leadership, the financial reward, the career enhancement are just an uncommon of the important elements that inspire workers to perform better. We can see from the table the extrinsic motivation statement, which shows that overall 43% clearly need the external things to keep them motivated. 7.3% are either neutral or do not necessarily need external factors for motivation. Extrinsic motivation is also important for recruiting and keeping talent in an environment where it is challenging to succeed. Employers may retain employees by offering competitive compensation, bonuses, and benefits that boost overall job satisfaction. The correlation table indicates that gender has a negative correlation to the fourth and fifth extrinsic motivation variables, which value of minus 0.69 and minus 0.004 respectively, which positively correlating with the other two extrinsic motivation variables. There is a negative association between respondents' responses and every basic extrinsic incentive element in the model age. The first and the last extrinsic factors had a negative correlation of 0.005 and 0.42 respectively with the grade respondent. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. The result of our chi-square analysis of intrinsic motivation and performance was 21.80. The statistically significant criterion, also known as the p-value, is less than 0.05. These findings suggest that employees performed in businesses and intrinsic motivation have a statistically significant link. The number of categories being compared is indicated by the degree of freedom. It suggests that there are 5 types of degrees of analysis in this context that are connected to employee performance and intrinsic motivation. Consequently, the null hypothesis, which holds that employee performance in businesses is unaffected by intrinsic motivation, is rejected. The chi-square test for extrinsic motivation is 21.80 in regard to performance. The outcome suggests that there exists a statistically noteworthy correlation between extrinsic motivation and staff performance in the enterprises. Therefore, the null hypothesis that extrinsic motivation does not affect staff performance in the enterprises is rejected. We can observe from the chart that workplace motivation, that the average of 70% feel that the workplace is a conducive and feel supported in the work environment. On the other hand, 10% are neutral on this distribution. 2.8% totally disagree with the work motivation. As observed in the relationship metrics, indicates that gender is a negative correlation with all the variables associated with this aspect of motivation. In the terms of the motivation, the age respondent is negative correlation with 4 of the 6 workplace and leadership characteristics. The grade for respondents also correlate negatively with all the elements of the workplace of the leadership management, excluding the last one, which has a positive quantity of 0.062. The respondent also correlate negatively with all the elements of workplace and leadership motivation, excluding the last one, which rises a positive value of 0.148. There is just a slight level of dissatisfaction with the features listed in the assertions, as evidenced by 4.5% of the employees who strongly disagree or disagree with the statement. Despite the low number of disgruntled employees, it is imperative that businesses address their own issues and look for methods to improve in the areas where they disagree. This can shield employees from potential demotivation and foster happier workplace. Employee motivation within organization is greatly aided by training and development. Employees who participate in training programs gain the ability and information needed to successfully do their duties, obligations. Organizations show their dedication to the professional progress of their workforce by finding programs for training and development. Assessment of personnel motivation and the result of influencing it is one of the central aspects of applied management. Due to the complexity of solving this issue, it is often included as a separate or intergenerated element in the personnel evaluation system. However, in our opinion, personnel assessment and motivation assessment are significant methodology differences. The connection between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation including workplace and leadership motivation, and how managerial abilities of enterprises leadership can improve on motivation. Systems for managing employee motivation are essential for improving an organization's overall performance and efficiency. These methods are made to effectively engage, inspire, and stimulate workers, raising their levels to drive, because they give workers the motivation and enthusiasm they need to perform to the best of their abilities. Employee management motivation systems are crucial for creating a positive work environment. Dangote Group's employees are both intrinsically and extrinsically motivated, contributing to their positive opinion of the working environment, company leadership, and the positive professional growth aspect. Factors contributing to employee motivation include meaningful job, intrinsic motivation from personal and professional progress opportunities, extrinsic motivation from competitive wages, the benefit package, recognition and rewards, and a good employer reputation. Dangote Group also provide various trainings and development options to make employees feel supported and prioritized to create an effective motivation system. In conclusion, personnel efficiency in an enterprise depend heavily on motivation and managerial leadership style, have big impact on non-financial incentives, and methods might also be used to bring out the best in workers. Motivation is not necessarily dependent on monetary compensation. The statistically significant relationship between intrinsic motivation and staff performance in the enterprises, we can draw a conclusion from it based on the result data of 89.2% of the staff working with the Dangote Group are motivated. Maintaining employee motivation requires a strong emphasis on professional growth. Putting money into ongoing trainings and skill development programs make sure that the workers have the opportunity to advance in ways that they are consistent with their innate interest and professionalism. Finally, systems for motivating employees are crucial to an organizational ability to function efficiently. Companies need to prioritize these systems to stay competitive and prevent issues like demotivated employees who perform poorly in their day-to-day operations. This is the list of my publications. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Linus, for your report and presentation. Dear colleague, the report is complete, so the members of Academic Council, please ask questions. Professor Могильна Людмила, let's start, please.
Thank you. Joshua, Linus, BAKA, during your dissertation report, I had the following clarifying question. First, what research methods did you use to analyze the effectiveness of the motivation system?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So I used the survey and questionnaire method, which is collecting data on employee satisfaction, their engagement, and perceived motivation levels. Standardized skills like the motivation of workplace and job satisfaction survey was the major style of analysis I applied.
Thank you. I am satisfied with your answer. And my next question, how did you select the companies for the empirical study?
Okay, thank you once again for that question. So we chose this particular company because of its size, because of performance indicators, because of convenient sampling and willingness to participate in the research, and of course the ethical approval so that we can be able to carry out this research, and we're convinced that we're going to have accurate data from the company. Thank you.
I am satisfied with your answer. I have no more question for Joshua, Linus, Baka. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Могильна. And Professor Харченко, Тетяна, please.
Thank you so much, Linus, for your results of research. And I have also some questions for you. So the first one, why is the methodological approach you have chosen the most effective for analyzing staff motivation?
Okay, thank you for that amazing question. So the survey and the questionnaire-based methodological approach is highly effective for analyzing staff motivation because it allows for structured, scalable, and data-driven insight. So that is the methodological approach that we used in this research.
Okay, thank you. I'm satisfied. And the next question. So, what can you say about what indicators did you use to quantitatively measure staff motivation?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that question as well. The quantitatively measure staff motivation, several key indicators can be used, often derived from established motivation theories such as the Maslow hierarchy of needs, the Hesberg's two-factor theory, self-determination theory, the expectancy theory, and the Vroom's theory. So these are the theories that can actually quantify or measure staff motivation, and that is the approach that we used in this research.
Okay, thank you. I'm satisfied. I haven't questions.
Okay, thank you. Professor Власенко Тетяна, you are welcome.
Hello, nice to see you. Very good presentation. Thank you. It was very interesting to listen to you. So I have also several questions. And the first one, tell me please, have you compared your motivation system with the existing international approaches? And if you did it, tell me what kind of results have you got? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. So there are similar motivation systems, but comparing them side by side, the major difference would be various types of industries with different work models. So international practices for motivational system are all the same, but different organization uses different approaches to how they keep their staff motivated, and it will vary from industry to industry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm satisfied. And the second one, tell me, please, does your motivation system consider individual features of employees?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. Yes, it does. It does. That is why we explored motivation as a psychological approach to it, because individuals have different temperament and different expectations. So it varies from individuals to individuals, because if someone is intrinsically motivated and then you're giving him another option, it may not really be effective. So it is tailored for individuals for their motivation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm satisfied. No more question.
Okay, well, Professor Шестакова Anna, you are welcome.
Hello, Joshua. Thank you for presentation of dissertation results. And first questions is the number of respondents during the survey was 300 people. Explain, please, how you selected them, and perhaps they were all employees of the enterprise.
Thank you so much for that question. Yes, the number of the respondents were 300 people. And yes, we selected them because they represent all the aspects of that particular enterprise. And yes, of course, they are all employees of the same enterprise. It's a large enterprise, one of the biggest, if not the biggest in Africa. So yes, we selected from the same enterprise, but different sectors of the enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you. And next questions I satisfy. What kind of motivation do you prefer? Material or non-material? Explain, please, why, and what type of motivation do you think has the greatest effect?
Okay, thank you. That is a very interesting question. For me personally, I am an intrinsically motivated person. However, material motivation is also loved by me. But the most effective type of motivation is obviously material motivation, because when you look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, everyone desires every one of those things. So obviously it has to be material motivation. Thank you.
Thank you. I satisfy. Thank you, Joshua.
Yes, thank you, Professor Шесткова. Dear Linus, I also have two questions for you. My first question is for slide 3. Can negative feedback be effective? If so, under what conditions?
Okay, thank you so much for that very, very interesting question. Negative feedback can be effective, but its impact depends on how it is delivered, the recipient's mindset, and the organizational culture. If used constructively, negative feedback can drive improvement, accountability, and motivation. However, poorly delivered negative feedback can lead to demotivation, disengagement, and resentment.
Okay, well, and one more question. Why does the company consider employees training support a priority? What training and development option does Dangote Group offer to its employees? How do training programs affect employee engagement and their professional growth?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So the Dangote Group considers employee training support a priority for several strategic reasons. First, to enhance employee productivity and performance, and bridging the skill gap to enhance innovation and competitiveness. The Dangote Group prioritizes employee training and development to ensure business continuity, enhance productivity, and foster organizational growth. By investing in their workforce, they aim to cultivate a pool of skilled and professional ready to meet the company's operational demands. Thank you.
Okay, very well. Thank you for your answer. Dear colleague, no more questions? Okay, thank you. Let me acquaint those present with the conclusion about the scientific novelty, theoretical and practical signification of the result of the thesis in Ukrainian language. Шановні члени спеціалізованої вченої ради, дозвольте вас ознайомити з висновком про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дисертації ДЖОШУА ЛІНУС БАКА на тему управління системою мотивації персоналу підприємств, англійською Management of Motivation System of Personnel at Enterprises. Щодо актуальності теми дисертації. Роботодавцям, менеджерам і фахівцям вкрай необхідно розробляти стратегії, механізми, системи, щоб в одних випадках підтримувати мотивацію своїх співробітників, пропонувати їм бажане задоволення, а з іншої уникати втрат співробітників через демотивацію. З наукової точки зору дослідження сучасних теоретичних тенденцій мотивації персоналу передбачає вивчення різних дисциплін, таких як соціологія, психологія, організаційна поведінка та теорія менеджменту. Такий міждисциплінарний підхід дозволяє глибоко зрозуміти комплекс факторів, що впливають на формування системи мотивації працівників. Дисертаційне дослідження, представлене сьогодні до захисту, виконано відповідно до напрямів науково-дослідної роботи кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової Сумського національного аграрного університету в рамках теми «Розвиток менеджменту в умовах міжнародних інтеграційних процесів», в межах якої автором досліджено теоретико-методичні основи системи мотивації персоналу на підприємствах. Наукова новизна і теоретичне значення дисертації полягає в поглибленні теоретичних та методичних засад підвищення ефективності мотиваційного менеджменту підприємств та в науковому обґрунтуванні практичних рекомендацій щодо впровадження концептуальних положень управління системою мотивації персоналу в діяльності підприємств. По-перше, було обґрунтовано концептуальні засади створення та функціонування системи управління мотивацією персоналу, яка, на відміну від існуючих, на основі інтеграції відповідного інструментарію, передбачає впровадження ефективної системи мотивації персоналу, що завдяки її універсальності та спрямованості на виявлення чинників впливу внутрішнього та зовнішнього фактору, дозволяє здійснити безперервне спостереження, аналіз загального впливу на мотивацію та коригування отриманих результатів, сприяючи підвищенню рівню мотивації персоналу та ефективності діяльності підприємства загалом, посилюючи його конкурентні позиції на ринку. Удосконалено змістову характеристику мотивації, зміст якої, на відміну від загальновідомих, полягає у поєднанні внутрішніх і зовнішніх впливів, які спонукають персонал діяти свідомо, досягати цілей і демонструвати певну поведінку. А також визначено, як психологічний процес впливає на інтенсивність, рішучість та увагу людини до певної діяльності або мети. Узагальнено методичний підхід підприємств до систематичної оцінки власного персоналу щодо продуктивності, здібностей, звичок і загальної цінності працівника для компанії, що має не тільки кількісні характеристики, а й якісні. Крім того, включає регулярні та неформальні канали зворотнього зв'язку керівництва з підлеглими. Ця оцінка отримує кілька сфер застосувань, включаючи прийняття рішень щодо просування по службі, визначення напрямів розвитку особи, а також узгодження особистих прагнень із корпоративними цілями. Узагальнено концептуальний підхід до побудови ефективних систем мотивації персоналу, які обов'язково включають, але не обмежуються, підвищення індивідуальної мотивації працівників, підвищення колективної мотивації, підвищення ефективності роботи працівників, оптимальне використання потенціалу працівників, успіх організації, а також її співробітників. Для створення ефективної системи мотивації необхідно особливу увагу приділяти характеру та тривалості трудової діяльності. Ефективна мотиваційна система підприємства має бути логічною, складеною, гнучкою та прийнятною. Набуло подальшого розвитку підходи до визнання поняття «ефективне лідерство», яке розглядається працівниками як джерело натхнення, заохочення та керівництва. Підвищення мотивації персоналу та підвищення продуктивності можна віднести на рахунок професійного менеджменту. Мотивація та залученість співробітників підвищується завдяки чіткості, що полегшує їм спостереження за тим, як їхні окремі внески відповідають бізнес-цілям. Методичний підхід щодо вимірювання впливу мотивації на ефективність системи управління підприємством шляхом регулярного проведення збору даних через опитування з метою модифікації та покращення мотиваційних програм на основі минливих бажань і уподобань співробітників, які повинні бути перетворені на практичні ідеї. Система створення індивідуальних мотиваційних методів, яка є науковою, може допомогти підприємству оцінити продуктивність персоналу, тим самим задовольнивши індивідуальні досягнення та механізм, за допомогою якого персонал мотивується на отримання та отримує належну підтримку, що покращує стратегію мотивації керівництва на підприємстві. Слід зазначити, що автором дисертаційної роботи було особисто проведено теоретичні та методичні дослідження, проведені розрахунки та отримано підтвердження результатів. Автор особисто сформулював висновки та рекомендації, готував до друку матеріали дослідження, брав участь у затвердженні та обговоренні результатів дослідження. Особистий внесок здобувача підтверджено нормативними документами та відповідними публікаціями. Апробація викладених у дисертаційному дослідженні науково-практичних результатів здійснена особисто здобувачем за науково-методичного супроводу наукового керівника, кандидата економічних наук, доцента Дашутіної Людмили Олександрівни в опублікованих працях, надрукованих у співавторстві, встановлено особистий внесок здобувача, а саме обробка отриманих результатів, науковий аналіз результатів дослідження, формулювання висновків і пропозиції належать аспірантам. Був проведений аналіз звіту перевірки на плагіат, на наявність текстових запозичень, програма страйк-плагіаризм. Рецензенти дійшли висновку, що дисертаційна робота ДЖОШУА ЛІНУС БАКА на тему управління системою мотивації персоналу англійською Management of Motivation System of Personnel at the Enterprises є результатом самостійних наукових досліджень здобувача і не містить елементів та плагіату та запозичень згідно постанови Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44 пункту 9. Використані ідеї, результати і тексти інших авторів мають посилання на відповідне джерело. Основні наукові положення та результати досліджень за темою дисертації опубліковано у 10 наукових працях. З них одна стаття опублікована в науково-періодичних виданнях Організації економічного співробітництва та розвитку України, які включені до науково-метричних базах даних Scopus, 3 статті у фахових наукових виданнях України категорії Б, 1 розділ колективної монографії та 5 тез в матеріалах наукових конференцій. Загальний обсяг публікацій становить 3,4 друкованих аркуша, з яких 2,6 друкованих аркуша належать особисто автору. Як висновок, дисертаційна робота ДЖОШУА ЛІНУС БАКА на тему управління системи мотивації персоналу підприємства англійською Management of Motivation System of Personnel at Enterprises, яка подана до захисту спеціалізовану вчену раду на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії з галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент за своєю актуальністю, науково-теоретичним рівнем, основними результатами обґрунтованості, основними положеннями і результатами, опублікованими в фахових виданнях, новизною постановки та практичним значенням відповідає вимогам наказу Міністерства освіти і науки України номер 40 від 12 січня 2017 року про затвердження вимог до оформлення дисертації та постанові Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44 про затвердження порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії із змінами, внесеними згідно з постановою Кабінету міністрів номер 341 від 21 березня 2022 року. Зміст дисертації відповідає паспорту спеціальності. Шановні присутні, розпочинаємо обговорення дисертації аспіранта ДЖОШУА ЛІНУС БАКА і Dear Linus, we begin the discussion of the dissertation work by Joshua Linus Baka. I invite a reviewer to speak, Professor Могильна Людмила, PhD in Economics, Sumy National Agrarian University. You are welcome, please.
Thank you. The full text of Joshua Linus Baka dissertation research can be found on the attestation file of the applicant or university website, so I would like to go to the main point in my review. In the context of global competition and rapid technological development, businesses are forced to look for effective approach to attract, retain and develop talented employees. It is the management of the personal motivation system that become a tool that ensures harmony between the company goals and the need of employees. Motivation is not just about salary or bonus. It is also about recognition, self-realization, a comfortable working environment, and opportunities for professional growth. And employees who feel valued are ready to do their best, take initiative, and support the corporate culture. Managing a motivational system is a complex process that requires managers to understand both the individual needs of employees and the strategic goals of the company. Joshua Linus Baka presents and substantive a new concept of creation and functioning of the personal motivation management system. The distinctive feature of this system is the integration of model tools that allow implementation and effective and universal motivation model. The author has improved the substantive characterization of motivation, which, unlike traditional approach, combine internal and external influence and that encourage employees to act consciously, achieve their goals, and demonstrate appropriate behavior. The author considers motivation as a physiological process that from the intensity, determination, and concentration of a person on a particular activity or goal. A detailed study of the content of the dissertation confirms that in Joshua Linus Baka's work, the scientific statements, research results, recommendation, and conclusion are sufficiently substantially reliable and obtained personally by the author. Joshua Linus BAKA dissertation consists of an introduction, section, conclusion, a volume of reference, which are set out on 180th page on the main text, including 20 tables and 32 features. Joshua Linus BAKA dissertation on the topic management of motivation system of personal and enterprises is a result of independent research of the acquire and does not certain element of plagiarism and borrowing in accordance with the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine. The main results of the research are highlighted in 10 scientific papers, on which 3 are publications in scientific journal, including 1 publication indexed by Scopus, with further confirms the high level of the applicant's scientific positions. The content of the dissertation submitted for review alone allows conclusion to known about scientific maturity of the applicant, his ability to identify current issues in the field, and his willingness to solve them at a sufficiently high scientific level. In general, Joshua Linus BAKA dissertation is a completely independent study in terms of content and forms. To access the scientific and practical significance of dissertation positively, it is necessary to point out some questionable provisions. In subchapter 1.2 provide a fairly in-depth assessment of classical theories and modern approach, but is not clear whether the study examines how classical motivation theories can be adapted to modern condition and whether modern motivation approach can replace classical theories or complement each other. In subchapter 1.3, it would be desirable to get additional explanation on the position of ensuring a balance between material and non-material aspect of motivation within the personal management system. In subchapter 2.2, it would be desirable to conduct a more detailed analysis of the effectiveness of the use of tangible and intangible method of motivation in order to achieve the strategic and operation goal of the enterprise. In subchapter 3.2, it would be desirable to analyze in more detail the role of the emotional system in the context of a comprehensive motivation system, investigating whether it is always the dominant factor or whether there are others can play a decisive role. However, the comments and wish expressed do not detract from the overall high quality of the research. The analysis of the dissertation and scientific paper lead to the conclusion that Joshua Linus BAKA's dissertation on the topic of management of motivation system of personal and enterprises is a conducted independently executed scientific work that has significant theoretical and applied significance. The scientific result in the dissertation correspond to the specialty 073 management, for which the work is submitted for defense. The scientific significance of the result is adopted and sufficient to recognize the completion of research by all qualification criteria. Joshua Linus BAKA dissertation on the topic management of motivation system of personal and enterprises, which was submitted for defense to the specialized academic council for obtaining the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management Administration, specialty 073 Management, according to its relevant scientific theoretical level, main result and justification, main provisions and result published in professional publication, novelty of the production and practical significance. It meets the requirements of the order of the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine. The main of the dissertation correspond to the passport of the specialty. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Могильна. Linus, you are given the opportunity to respond to the comments that have been posted in the reviewer's review.
We would like to thank Ludmila Mohilna for reviewing and analyzing our dissertation. In response to the comments of this esteemed reviewer, we would like to explain that, one, we appreciate your observation about the need to explore the relationship between classical motivation theories and contemporary approaches in research. We have examined how classical motivation theories like Maslow's hierarchy of needs can be adapted to contemporary organizational context. We have examined factors such as changing workplace dynamics, technological advances, and the adverse demographic makeup of the workforce that influences the relevance of these theories. We have examined whether contemporary motivation approaches like self-determination theory, job design, and flexible models of motivation replace or complement classical theory. And would like to emphasize that while contemporary approaches address new challenges, they often build on the fundamental principle of classical theories, make them contemporary rather than mutually expensive. For the second comment, the explanation of material and non-material motivation in the workplace, highlighting the role model of material incentive like salaries and bonuses in addressing financial needs, and the significance of non-material motivators like recognition and personal growth opportunity in fostering intrinsic motivation and long-term engagement. It also introduces strategies for creating a balanced approach, highlighting how combining material rewards and non-material recognition can enhance job satisfaction and performance. The third comment, as for more detailed analysis for the effectiveness of using material and non-material motivation methods to achieve the strategic and operational goals of the enterprise, we did not take this into account in our scientific research, but it will be a good context for future research to work on this. And the final comment, we appreciate your suggestion to analyze the role of remuneration system in greater detail within the context of a comprehensive motivation system. While the study acknowledges the significance of remuneration, a deeper investigation into its position as the dominant factor compared to other motivation elements falls inside the current scope of the research. Thank you.
Okay, Professor Mogilna, are you satisfied with the answer?
I am satisfied with the answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We continue. I invite a reviewer to speak, Professor Harchenko Tatiana, PhD in Economics, Sumy National Agrarian University. You are welcome.
Thank you so much for opportunity to review the work. The full review is attached to the materials of the attestations file and on the website. Therefore, I will introduce the main points of the review. So, at first, I would like to start the relevance of the dissertation topic. Today, modern approaches to personal management are based on the principles of increasing the importance of such a component as motivation. Motivation is seen as the main driving force for improving labor productivity at enterprises as the main strategic resources, no less important than financial capital. The right motivation helps to create a positive atmosphere and corporate culture in the team, minimize any conflicts at work, reduce staff turnover, and maintain a stable workforce. That's why managing a company's staff motivation system is an extremely important issue in today's business environment. This is due to several key aspects: competitions for talent, productivity growth, challenges in labor culture, and reduced staff turnover. Therefore, managing the staff motivation system is not only an important element of human resources management, but also as a strategic tool for achieving the company's business goals. In a rapidly changing market, this aspect is becoming critical to ensuring the sustainability and competitiveness of an organization. So the thesis has a connection with scientific programs, topics, and plans. They also demonstrated the relevance and choice of the research topic at a sufficient scientific levels and demonstrated the research goals, task, object, and subject. The research methods used in the work are supported by appropriate arguments. The scientific novelty of this study lies in the following key aspect. At first, the theoretical framework underlines the creation and operational dynamics of the staff motivation management system is thoroughly sustained with the unlike existing models, so the integration of relevant methodologies contributes to the introduction of an effective framework for staff motivation. Improved element and further progress was made by exploring the defining of effective leadership, which is perceived by staff and the sources of inspiration, encouragement, and guidance, and a practical significance of the obtained results of research. The academic and practical relevance of this thesis focuses on the evaluation of concepts used to outline the main components of employee motivation management system, including strategies related to compensation and recognition, education and promotion, financial incentives, and the communication framework between managers and their subordinates, together with the delegation of workload. The main results obtained personally by the author. Joshua Linus Barker's dissertations consist of an introduction, 3 chapters, conclusions, and a list of references laid out on 168 pages. Of the main text includes 20 tables, 32 figures. The list of used literature sources contains 196 items on 21 pages. The introduction to the thesis contains all the structural elements, including information on the practical testing, on the research results, as well as the author's personal contributions on the scientific works published in co-authorship. In the first chapter of the thesis, Joshua Linus Barker discussed the theory and methodological foundations of modern human resources management. The first segment of the dissertation research outlines the theoretical and methodological foundation of the system of staff motivation at enterprise. The author presents the basic and fundamental characteristics of the staff motivation, analyzes motivational theories along with the modern scientific approaches to staff motivation, and clarifies the methodological foundation for assessing the enterprise human resources management systems and its relationship with the motivational framework. The study examines various concepts and definitions of motivations, and the author formulates a point of view that differs from the established definitions, characteristics, motivation as a fusion of internal and external incentives that encourage employees to purposeful participation, achievement of goals, and manifestation of specific behavior. In addition, motivation is defined as a psychological phenomenon that affects an individual's intensity, determination, and so on. The second section reveals the trends in the application of the motivational system. The author provides analytical content and characteristics of the motivation system of Nigeria enterprises. The influence of staff motivation on results of enterprise is studied. Noteworthy, the conceptual foundation of the staff motivation management system, which were first substantiated by the author. This involves the introduction of an effective system of staff motivation, which, due to its visibility and focus on identifying factors of internal and external influence, allows for continuous monitoring, analyzing of overall impact on motivation, and adjustment of results obtained. The third chapter of the thesis covers the consideration of labor motivation system. The study emphasizes the importance of adapted motivational theories. The author focuses on the remuneration systems as an instrument of motivation. The Nigerian and Ukrainian remuneration systems are compared. It was found that job security is crucial for for employees' motivation. Organizational culture affects employee satisfaction and performance. Effective compensation strategies are necessary to retain the workforce. It's also worth emphasizing that the author has found that individual motivational methods are important for employee engagement. Training and educational increasing the conceptions and motivation of the workforce. Expectancy theory applies to employee motivation and reward expectation. Self-determination theory emphasizes autonomy and community in motivation. Culture factors influence motivation strategies and outcomes. All elements of thesis are relevant for requirements of thesis. An analysis of plagiarism check report for the presence of textual borrowings strike plagiarism programs was carried out. The reviewers came to the conclusions that dissertation work Joshua /LINUS BAKA on the topic management of motivation system of personnel at the enterprises is the result of independent research for the recipient and does not contain elements of plagiarism and borrowing in accordance with the resolution of the Cabinet Minister of Ukraine, date 12 of January 2022, number 44, paragraph 9. Used ideas, results, and text of other authors have a link to the corresponding source. And I would like to also underline the scientific provisions, recommendation, conclusions of the dissertation covered by Joshua /LINUS BAKA in 10 scientific works, namely 1 article in a scientific publication, which is included in the International Scienceometric Database Corpus, 1 article in Scientific Professional Editions of Ukraine, 1 section collective monograph, and 5 works of an approbation nature. So, and according to the remarks and wishes for the content. In general, Joshua /LINUS BAKA's dissertation is a completely independent study in content and form, while positively assessing the scientific and practical significance of the dissertation. Several points of discussion should be noted. The first one, in the first theoretical section, it would be useful to indicate how many motivational drivers can cause a reference effect in the board. The second one, in section 2.3, it would be advisable to reflect whether it's appropriate to use universal methods of assessing motivation for different countries and cultures. Number 3, research in section 3.1 would be interesting, taking into account such an aspect as the transparency of labor remuneration in terms of promotion and increase in the level of trust and motivational of employees. And the last one, section 3.3 should consider some of the risks that may arise when applying new concept of motivation at enterprises and how they can be minimized. However, the expressed comments and wishes don't reduce the research's overall high quality. The analysis of the dissertation and scientific purpose gives reason to conclude that Joshua /LINUS BAKA's dissertation on the topic management of motivation system of personnel at the enterprises is a completed independently performing scientific work that has significant theoretical and applied significance. The dissertation solves a specific scientific task of developing theoretical provisions and methodological principles and formulated practical model and recommendations to improve the effective personnel management. So, and correspondence of the dissertations to the specialty and profile of the council. Joshua /LINUS BAKA's dissertation on the topic management of the motivation system of personnel at the enterprises, which was submitted for defense or to the specialized academic council for obtaining the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration, specialty 073 Management according to its relevant scientific theoretical level, main results of justification, main provision and results published in professional publications, novelty of the production and practical significance. It meets the requirements of the order of the Minister of Education and Science of Ukrainian number 40 from 12 of January 2017 on approval of requirements for preparation of a dissertation and resolutions of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine, date of from 12 of January 2022, number 44, on approval of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time specialized academic council of a higher education institution, scientific institution on over the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, with change introduced in accordance with the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers number 341 from 21 of March 2022. The content of the dissertation corresponds to the passport of the specialty. Reviewer, PhD in Economic, Харченко Tatiana. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Харченко. Linus, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in the reviewer's review.
All right. Thank you for the comment, Tatiana Harchenka. And in response to them, we would like to note that you noted in the first theoretical session, it will be useful to indicate how many motivational factors can cause a backlash on the board. We agree with you. In the reverse section, we have cleared how many motivational drivers can potentially cause a reverse effect in the board. Specifically, we have identified some key motivational drivers such as financial incentives, power dynamics, reputational concepts that may lead to unintended consequences, such as reduced objectivity, conflict of interest, and strategic misalignment. In the section 2.3, and thank you for that valuable feedback, we acknowledge that cultural differences can significantly influence motivational factors, and a standardized approach may not always capture these nuances effectively. To address this, we have incorporated relevant cross-section research to highlight the potential limitations of universal assessment methods. Additionally, we suggested that the context-specific adaptations may be necessary to ensure the validity and reliability of the motivation assessment. Then we also thank you for your suggestion, and the transparency of labor remuneration is indeed a crucial factor in fostering trust and motivation among employees. While our current research focuses on management of motivation, we acknowledge that incorporating these aspects could provide additional depth to the discussion. We will consider addressing this in future research and expanding the current analysis where possible. And finally, we agree that addressing potential risk associated with implementing new motivation concept in enterprises would enhance the discussion. We will consider incorporating a discussion on possible risks and mitigation strategies to provide a more comprehensive analysis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Professor Harchenko, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, I'm full satisfied. Thank you very much.
Okay, we are continuing. I invite an official opponent to speak, Professor Vlasenko Tatiana, Doctor of Economics, Head of Department of Enterprise Economics and Business Organization, Kharkiv National University of Economics, named after Simon Kuznets. You are welcome, please.
Thank you. I want to thank first that I was invited in this process because this dissertation is quite interesting, and last year we defended my PhD student also about motivation, but we're talking about generation and influence on of generation of effectiveness of motivation, and this is one of my point of discussion in my review. So, as almost all main items of your dissertation were already discussed, that's why I want to ask you to discuss only main items of my review. So, the whole review was signed on time and posted on the website, where it can be viewed and followed. And so, the main items. Of course, the relevance of topic is clear, and we know that personnel is the most important resource in organization. Because of this, we can cope with all main challenges of our external environment. Lack of proper motivation system can lead to decrease in labor efficiency and increase in staff turnover and deorientation in the enterprise's financial results. And also, I want to add that in current wartime problem of managing personnel motivation system is especially acute due to economic instability, labor migration from one side, and the high competitiveness in labor market from the other side. So, successful enterprise that seek to maintain their positive and develop must implement innovative approaches to motivation, combining material and non-material incentives that meet the modern needs of employees. So all these items prove the high level of relevance of your dissertation. Scientific program topics and plan. As I see, main idea of your dissertation were part of scientific research of the Department of Management named after Professor Mikhailov, Sumy National Agrarian University, development of management in the context of international integration process. Just few words about scientific novelty, because as I have already said, almost all items were already discussed. So for the first time, it was substantiated the conceptual foundation of the creation and functioning of the personnel motivation management system, which on the basis of integration appropriate tools provides for the introduction of an effective personnel motivation system. Also, in addition, the following was improved: content characteristics of motivation, methodological approach of enterprises to the systematic assessment of their own personnel, conceptual approaches to build an effective personnel motivation system, further developed approaches to the recognition of the concept of effective leadership, methodological approaches to measuring the impact of motivation on the effectiveness of the enterprise management system of creating individual motivation methods. About scientific and practical significance. So, analysis of development trend and practical application of personnel management system at enterprise were done at your dissertation. Also, development of comprehensive system of organization principle for the integration of personnel motivation management. And also, I want to maintain that your evaluation of ways to identify main element of personnel motivation management system have very huge practical potential and could be implemented in the practical activity of different types of enterprises. Okay, a few words about completeness of the presentation, dissertation materials, and scientific publication. Also, my colleague already has maintained that one of your article was published in journal, that is indexed in scientific-based Scopus. It's really great because in our university only maybe 10% of students have such PhD students, of course, have such publications. So it's great. It proves the high levels of scientific novelty of your dissertation. Degree of validity of scientific provision. All main material of your element of your dissertation fully disclose the main tasks, and all this material disclose the main goal of your dissertation. So, what else? Few words about structure, content of dissertation. Dissertation consists of introduction, 3 sections. It's 168 pages that contain 20 tables and a huge list of literature resources, 196. Very good. What else? Presented dissertation of ДЖОШУА ЛІНУС work has a logical structure, is content fully reveals the topic of scientific research. Okay, and discussion moments. So, despite the positive impression of the presented dissertation and familiarization with the author's publication, attention should be paid to the presence of specific comments and discussion provisions. So, the first one, in the section 1.1, author studied the essence, content, and characteristic of personnel motivation at enterprise and proposed his own formulation of definition. So it's not clear whether he took into account the specific of different sector of economy or whether there is a universal definition of this concept. This is the first one. The second is the second section of dissertation, current state of applying personnel motivation system at enterprise in Nigeria. It's quite interesting. If it would be better if you used material from Ukrainian enterprises, or maybe some comparison would make your dissertation better. The third one, under the condition of the analysis of influence of personnel management on the result of the enterprise activity in the section 2.2, we would like to clarify whether it's possible to achieve balance between the individual motivation of personnel or the goals of the organization, because it's quite important if you want to build effective system of management effectiveness of the enterprise. It's necessary to consider individual goals, goals of organization, stakeholders' interests, and so on. And the last one, as I have asked you about individual features, whether have you considered individual feature of employee in analyzing motivation system? So my last discussion point is about considering the influence of generations on the general motivation theory. What do I mean? We've got results with my students, PhD students, that main stimulus of motivation differ from generation to generation, and I am sure that you will that you should maybe use this approach in your further researches in this sphere of analysis. But the above remarks do not affect the positive, very positive assessment of your dissertation, Joshua Linus Bach's dissertation, and do not reduce its scientific and practical, especially practical value and the level of scientific achievements of the dissertation. So my general conclusion, dissertation of Joshua Linus Bach, Management of Personnel Motivation System of Enterprises, which have submitted for defense to the Specialized Academic Council for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration, in the specialty 073 Management, in terms of its relevant scientific and theoretical level, main results of validity, main provision, and results published in professional publication, the novelty of the formulation and practical significance meets the requirement of the Order of Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine, number 40 of January of the 12th of January 2017, on approval of the requirement of the preparation of the dissertation and the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine of the 12th of January 2022, number 44, on approval of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and the cancellation of the decision on the one-time Specialized Academic Council of a higher education institution, scientific institution, on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, as amended by the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers number 341 of the 21st of March of 2022. So my result is fully adopt and to give you this degree, Doctor of Philosophy, by this specialty. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Vlasenko, for your review. Dear Linus, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in the reviewer's review.
Okay. Thank you so much, dear Professor, for your comments. We are grateful for the thorough analysis of our dissertation research. We take into account the comment for our esteemed opponent, Tatiana Vlasenko, but we would like to clarify some position. So firstly, in formulating the definition of personnel motivation in section 1.1, we aimed to provide a comprehensive and adaptable perspective. However, we acknowledge that motivation can also vary across different economic sectors. We will clarify whether our definition considers sector-specific distinctions and discuss the possibility of a universal approach while recognizing several distinctions. Secondly, our study focuses on the current state of personnel motivation system in Nigerian enterprises to provide an in-depth analysis within its specific context. However, we recognize that a comparative perspective, including enterprises in Ukraine, could enrich the discussion. While this falls behind the current scope of our research, we acknowledge its value and may consider it for future studies. Thirdly, achieving a balance between individual personnel motivation and organizational goals is indeed a critical aspect of effective motivation strategies. In section 2.2, we discussed this relationship, but we acknowledge the need for further clarification. We will consider elaborating on how organizations can align individual motivation and corporate objectives to ensure mutual benefit and sustainable performance. Finally, thank you so much for your valuable suggestion. We recognize that modern trends as remote work and generational shifts play a significant role in shaping personnel motivation and enterprise performance. We acknowledge the importance of these evolving factors. We will explore ways to incorporate their impact into our discussion to provide a more comprehensive analysis. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Professor Vlasenko, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, fully. Thank you for your answers. It's very pleasant to
Okay,
communicate with you. Thank you.
well, now I invite an official opponent to speak, Professor Шестакова Anna, PhD in Economics, Polisi National University. You are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Joshua, for interesting aspects in your dissertation. And the first, relevance of the topic of the dissertation. The rapid development of the Nigeria as a powerful state of the African continent is gradually becoming one of the leading trends in the modern development of the world economy. The main condition for the development of the economy, a new quality of economic growth, is the increase in human capital, the processes of which are closely related to the management of personal motivation and the results of which cause changes in the social sphere of the country's society. Highly educated, motivated, and creatively realized employees are a source of new developments, inventions, and other objects of intellectual property. To find out these problems and put forward effective solutions so as to promote the innovation and development of the personal motivation management system in the new economic development period and the development of new technology are the main task for today. Scientific novelty of the obtained results. The author confirms the relevance and choice of the research topic as a sufficient scientific level and identifies the research objectives, tasks, objects, and subjects. The research method used in the work are accompanied by appropriate reasoning. The goal of this paper is sustain the theoretical and methodological features and practical application of the management of the personal motivation system at enterprise. Deserves attention the conceptual principle of the creation and functioning of the personal motivation management system, which, unlike the existing ones, on the basis of the integration of the appropriate tools, provides for the implementation of an effective personal motivation system, which, thanks to its versatility and focus on identifying internal and external influencing factors, allows to carry out continuous observation analysis of the general impact on motivation and adjustment of the obtained results, contributing to increase the level of motivation of the staff and the efficiency of the enterprise in general, strengthening its competitive position of the market. The improved theoretical and methodological mechanism for management of motivation system of personnel at the enterprises acquires a scientific appearance. The functioning of the effective motivational mechanism of enterprises is provided, logical, faulted, flexible, and acceptable. Thus, to create an effective motivation system, it is necessary to pay special attention to the nature and duration of work. Competence of presentation on dissertation material in scientific publication, scientific provisions, recommendations, conclusions of the dissertation covered by Joshua, Linus, BAKA in 10 scientific papers, 5 conference papers, 1 articles published in journals indexed in Scopus, 1 articles published in collective monographs, 3 articles in journal included in the list of scientific professional publication of Ukraine, assigned category GB. The structure and content of the dissertation, its completeness and compliance with the established requirements for design. In first chapter of the dissertation research, the author analyzed and summarized the theoretical and methodological foundation of the personal motivation system at enterprises are defined. The main and essential characteristic of personal motivation are given. Motivational theories and modern scientific approach to personal motivation and methodological approach to the evaluation of the personal management system of the enterprise and its interrelationships are specified connection with the motivation system. The author formulates definitions of motivation in contrast to the commonly known ones as a combination of internal and external influence that encourages personnel to act consistently, achieve goals, and demonstrate certain behavior, and is also defined as a psychological process that affects a person's intensity, determination, and attention to a certain activity or goal. In second section of the dissertation, summed up trends in the development and application of the personal management system at enterprises, the characteristic of the current state of the personal motivation system application in Nigerian enterprises were described. The impact of personal motivation on the result of the enterprise was investigated, and a methodological approaches and practice of evaluation the personal motivation system. In the third section on the dissertation, the author puts forward the organizational principles of the integration of tools in the management of the personal motivation system at enterprise that are proposed. The remuneration system is diagnosed as the main motivational tool, organizational culture as a factor for improving the motivation of enterprises, and modern concepts of multinational personal management system. And discussion, classes and remarks to the dissertation. In chapter 1.3, page 67, it would be advisable to consider practical approach to point in the work does an employer realize sense of advancement and the most reassuring indicator. Second, in the subsection 2.1, page 84, it would be to consider the impact of employees demonstrate a high level of internal initiative in the enterprises in Dangote Group, which means the author's one vision of future employments of specialities. In subsection 2.2, page 99, the principles of work ethics are discussed, but it would be more relevant to pay more attention to the impact of reasons for extrinsic and intrinsic motivation of Dangote Group employees. In subsection 2.2, page 106, it would be advisable to develop and expand of innovative method of talent recruitment, which improves training and development method for Dangote Group employees. In subsection 3.1, it would be useful to take into account the reasons why managers do not understand the importance of flexibility in the social security package to motivate workers working for minimum wage. These comments do not reduce the scientific and practical value of Joshua Linus BAKA research and do not affect the overall positive assessment of the reviewed work. In general conclusion, Joshua Linus BAKA dissertation on the topic management of motivation system of personnel at the enterprises, which was submitted for defense to the Specialized Academic Council for obtain the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration, Specialty 073 Management, according to its relevance, scientific theoretical level, main results of justification, main provisions, and result published in professional publications. Novelty of the production and practical significance, it meets the requirements of the order of the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine on approval of requirements for the preparation of dissertation and resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine on approval of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time Specialized Academic Council of Higher Education Institution, scientific institution on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. This change introduced in according with resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Shostakova. Linus, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in the reviewer's review.
All right. Dear Anna Shostakova, thank you for your rather thorough review of our scientific work, and allow me to answer your questions. Regarding the consideration of practical approaches, an employee realized a sense of advancement is that according to the expectation hypothesis, workers' psychological well-being is not a sole factor impacted by unknown outcomes. Employees are extrinsically motivated to perform if they believe that their effort will be scientifically and sufficiently rewarded. Expectancies are beliefs that a given level of effort to lead to the appropriate degree of performances. Instrumentality is expectations that reach a given level of performance will lead to a given reward. And valence is the effective value of the reward system. Secondly, it is true that employees of Dangote Group demonstrated a high level of internal initiative, because when people find personal fulfillment in their profession, they are more likely to endure with it over time and experience less. We also know that employees that exhibit high level of intrinsic drive can benefit from variety of effects on a business, including improved performance, creativity, and productivity. Additionally, it can promote a culture of self-motivation and pride in one's job, which ultimately serve the interests of both the individual and the company as a whole burnout. Furthermore, there is a proximity connection between contentedness and intrinsic motivation. Thirdly, regarding the extrinsic and intrinsic motivation of the group employee, in this dissertation, we have considered the following. 1, examples of extrinsic motivation, such as financial reward, performance incentive, and recognition program, and analyze their impact on employee behavior and performance. We discussed intrinsic motivation, such as personal growth opportunities, sense of purpose and alignment, and organizational value, drawing on relevant theories and empirical data. Fourthly, you're quite rightly so to draw our attention to the need to develop and expand innovative methods of attracting talent, which improve the training and development method of the group employee. But in our work, we have considered this quite superficially, and it is an open area for further research. Finally, I appreciate your thoughtful remark, and would like your idea to investigate why managers might not see the value of social security benefits, flexibility as a motivation for low-wage workers. As a result, we introduce the following to subsection 3.1, page 139 and page 140. An explanation of the possible causes for managers undervaluation of flexibility social security plans, such as lack of knowledge about workers' objectives and excessive focus on cost-cutting strategies, or a poor comprehension of the ways in which flexibility might improve employee retention and satisfaction. An examination of how these elements could result in lost charges the raised minimum wage workers' motivation, supported by pertinent research and real-world experience. So suggestions for closing this gap include managerial training initiatives and enhance their comprehension of the employee. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Linus. Professor Shostakova, are you satisfied
I am
with the answer?
satisfied, yeah.
Okay, thank you, colleague. Next step, according to the rules of work of the Specialized Academic Council, we proceed to the discussion of the thesis of Joshua Linus BAKA. I emphasize that all present members of the Academic Council have the right to take part in the discussion. Therefore, I ask hosts who want to speak out about this work. Professor Mogilna, You are welcome.
In my opinion, Joshua Linus Baka dissertation contains all the attributed that are necessary for PhD dissertation. As can be seen from the author's abstract and the dissertation report, the work is relevant, the goal and objectives are clearly defined, various research methods are used, the result of scientific novelty. The work is presented in a logical sequence. The conclusion follows from the result of the study. That's why the work is very interesting. Despite the comment, I must admit that the amount of work, the research, the data analyzed by the dissertation demonstrate his professional development and allow me to evaluate the work as a whole positively and vote for the vote of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration, specialty 073 Management.
Thank you for your opinion. Please, Professor Харченко Tatiana, you are welcome.
So in discussion chapter, I really like that the author included organization, culture, and leadership in the project chapter of dissertation in the content of management of personal motivation. So, and I would like to add that leadership is a crucial element in any organization, influencing its culture, performance, and overall success. Here is several key points, so highlighting the relevance and of this element. So good leaders motivated and engage their teams. They recognize individual contributions, provide support, and create an atmosphere where employees feel valued and empowered to perform at their best. And also, I'm satisfied that the graduate student includes in dissertation work all scientific works of our university and international scientists, and it's very respect for younger scientists. And I'm very impressed that young scientists raises such serious issues, and appreciate that Linus shown own view on this issue and provided her own vision and valuable recommendations. So despite the fact that some points are discussive nature, I will support positively. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Харченко. Professor Vlasenko, are you welcome?
Yes, of course. So first of all, I want to support these applicants, these PhD students, nevertheless of high amount of scientific works, dissertations that are devoted to motivation. All new challenges of external environment create difficulties for enterprises to cope with their current system of motivation. They must make it better all the time. That's why your dissertation is relevant. What else? Also, I fully support my previous colleagues about all items of your dissertation. I mean the structure, goal, set of tasks that were fully disclosed in your dissertation. Also, list of publication, and that you took part in conference that prove that you highlighted the scientific result of your dissertation are also very important. Practical significance of your dissertation is very high. And what else? All discussion moments that were discussed here, they are not so important, and I'm sure that it just will help you in future to improve your scientific researches, and maybe it will give you intention, your further destination of scientific research, maybe. What else? So it was very interesting to get new information about the specifics of function of Nigeria enterprises. It really was interesting because mostly we work with Ukrainian ones. So what else? Very good presentation, very good answers on questions. So in any cases, I support to give you this scientific degree, Doctor of Philosophy in field 07, Management and Administration, and specialty 073, Management. Okay, that's all. So I support you fully. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Vlasenko, for your opinion. And Professor Shostakova, you are welcome.
It's too short, but it's through the analysis and research of the current situation of this interesting dissertation of the personal motivation management system level of Nigerian enterprises personnel, the basic rules of the conceptual model of enterprise personal development management, and the theories and methods of systematic management are put forward so as to form a sound effective development in the context of the personal motivation management system to improve the management level of the enterprise and social and economic benefits. Я буду підтримувати, мені трошки важко говорити англійською, тому я підтримую дисертанта, дуже цікава робота. Дякую, що я залучена до роботи як опонент, і мені дуже сподобалася наукова робота. Вона дійсно висвітлила континент Африки з іншої сторони, що вони економічно також розвиваються. Є груп диференціація виробництва, багато чим займається даний холдинг. Ну, я буду підтримувати ЛІНУС БАКА. Дякую.
Okay, thank you, Professor Shostakova, for your opinion. And finally, my opinion. Dear members of the Specialized Academic Council, today we have the honor to consider the dissertation for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy of the PhD student Joshua Linus BAKA. Joshua Linus BAKA is known to us as a responsibility and talented researcher. His scientific work management of motivation system of personnel at the enterprises is a significant contribution to the development of the theory and practice of human research management. The author conducted his in-depth analysis of extended approaches to personal motivation, developed his own model, and offered practical recommendations to enterprise. I'm convinced that this dissertation deserves high prize from the scientific community, and therefore I will support the PhD student during the work. Thank you. Does anyone else want to speak? No.
No.
Okay, thank you. If there are no objections, I suggest the decision and to give possibility for giving some word to scientific supervisor. Professor Людмила Дашутіна, PhD in economics, you are welcome.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words about the dissertation and about my postgraduate student. First of all, I want to say a sincerely thank to everybody present for participating in the Specialized Academic Council. My full conclusion as a scientific supervisor is in the attestation file of Joshua Linus BAKA. And now I would like to dwell on the main points of dissertation. Joshua Linus BAKA has fully completed the 60-credit postgraduate educational and scientific program. which corresponds to the procedure of training of higher education applicants for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. He acquired theoretical knowledge, skills, abilities, and other competencies sufficient for the production of new ideas, solving complex problems in the field of professional and research innovation activities, mastered the methodology of scientific and pedagogical activities, and also carried out his own scientific research throughout the entire period of study. Scientific research was carried out in accordance with the thematic plan of scientific and research works of Sumy National Agrarian University and the management department named after Mikhailova. Personal motivation becomes one of the most important factors that can influence the solution of a number of problems facing management. So personal innovation is the main means of ensuring optimal use of resources, mobilizing human resources, and so on. It is this fact that determines the relevance of the chosen research topic. The relevance of the topic is a defining feature of modern approaches to managing personal development. This is the task of creative implementation into real practice of continuous generation of new knowledge and commercial development, return of capital investments in human resources. Joshua Linus Baka's dissertation meets the requirements in terms of its relevance, scientific and theoretical level, main results of validity, main provisions and results published in professional publications, novelty of presentation, and practical significance. Joshua Linus Baka proved himself responsible, persistent, and conscientious graduate student. He decided to stay in country and continue his scientific work despite the difficult circumstances of the war. This decision was not easy, but it was a statement to his respect for Ukraine, our people, and the exceptionally high level of education he received here. So I wish Joshua Linus Baka future scientific achievements, and I hope for the support of the Special Council and positive feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Дашутіна. Thank you. Шановні члени спеціалізованої вченої ради, якщо немає заперечень, я пропоную закінчити обговорення. І наразі переходимо до процедури відкритого голосування. Прошу членів спеціалізованої вченої ради проголосувати і озвучити рішення щодо присудження Джошуа Лінус Бака ступеня доктора філософії зі спеціальності 073 менеджмент. Я розпочну. Я, Орєхова Альвіна Іванівна, голосую за присудження Джошуа Лінус Бака ступеня доктора філософії зі спеціальності 073 менеджмент. Будь ласка, професор Могильна Людмила Миколаївна.
Я голосую за присудження наукового ступеня доктора філософії зі спеціальності 073 менеджмент Джошуа Лінус Бака.
Дякую. Будь ласка, професор Харченко Тетяна Миколаївна.
Я голосую за присудження ступеня доктора філософії зі спеціальності 073 менеджмент Лінус Джошуа Бака.
Дякую. Будь ласка, професор Власенко Тетяна Анатоліївна.
Філософія за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент Джошуа Лінус Бака.
Дякую. Будь ласка, професор Шестакова Анна Валеріївна.
Я голосую за присудження ступеня PhD з менеджменту Джошуа Лінус Бака.
Дякую. Таким чином, результати відкритого голосування. 5 голосів за, проти немає, утримались немає. Шановні члени спеціалізованої вченої ради, нами попередньо було розроблено проект рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради, дозвольте його зачитати. Спеціалізована вчена рада Сумського національного аграрного університету, Міністерства освіти і науки України, міста Суми прийняла рішення про присудження ступеня доктора філософії з галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування на підставі прилюдного захисту дисертації на тему управління системою мотивації персоналу підприємств англійською Management of Motivation System of Personnel at the Enterprises за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Джошуа Лінус Бака, 1992 року народження, громадянин Нігерії, освіта вища, закінчив у 2020 році Сумський національний аграрний університет за спеціальністю менеджмент, освітня програма адміністративний менеджмент. Аспірантуру закінчує у 2025 році Сумський національний аграрний університет Міністерства освіти і науки України, міста Суми. Дисертацію виконано у Сумському національному аграрному університеті Міністерства освіти і науки України, міста Суми. Тема дисертації затверджена на засіданні вченої ради Сумського національного аграрного університету, протокол номер 9 від 29 березня 2021 року. Науковий керівник Дешутіна Людмила Олександрівна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової Сумського національного аграрного університету. Джошуа Лінус Бака завершив виконання освітньо-наукової програми у 2025 році. 30 серпня 2024 року відбулася публічна презентація дисертаційного дослідження на кафедрі менеджменту імені професора Михайлової за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент, де дисертацію було рекомендовано до розгляду та захисту у разовій спеціалізованій вченій раді. Основні наукові положення та результати досліджень за темою дисертації опубліковано у 10 наукових працях, з них одна стаття опублікована в науковому періодичному виданні, яке включено до науково-метричної бази Scopus, 3 статті у фахових виданнях категорії Б, 6 інші публікації. На підставі результатів відкритого голосування разова спеціалізована вчена рада присуджує Джошуа Лінус Бака ступінь доктора філософії з галузі знань 07, управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Чи є зауваження щодо рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради? Немає.
Немає.
Дякую. Шановні колеги, давайте проголосуємо про прийняття відповідного рішення. Хто за? Хто проти? Немає. Дякую. Дозвольте привітати Джошуа Лінус Бака з успішним захистом дисертації. Dear Linus, let me congratulate you on successful defense. The Specialized Academic Council has awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and Specialty 073 Management. Dear Joshua Linus Baka, you are welcome.
Dear head and members of the Specialized Academic Council, dear colleagues, first of all, I would like to thank God and allow me to sincerely thank you for your attention to my work, meaningful discussion and constructive comments. Your questions and comments demonstrated high professionalism and extraordinary interest in the topic I was researching. I am deeply grateful to my scientific supervisor, Ludmila Deshutina, for her support, valuable advice, and inspiration in working on this topic. I express special gratitude to my colleagues who helped at all stages of the research, as well as to everyone who participated in the review and provided important recommendations. Your comments and suggestions will be taken into account in further scientific activities, and I see a great potential of development of this topic. Thank you very much for this opportunity to present the result of my work to such an authoritative audience. I hope that my work will contribute to the development of scientific thoughts and practical solutions in the field of developing the personnel management system. Finally, I also want to thank my family, my parents, who have supported me all this time and given me the opportunity to study and gain this valuable knowledge. Thank you once again, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, dear Linus. At this meeting of the Specialized Academic Council is considered closed. Thank you all for our productivity